Chris Watts. Most people had never heard his name before August 2018. At first glance, his life in Frederick, Colorado seemed normal, typical middle-class suburb, two adorable little girls, a beautiful wife, and what looked like a happy home. But what happened in that quiet neighborhood sent shockwaves way beyond Colorado. It started like a regular Monday morning. Chris's wife, Shanann, had just come home from a business trip. She texted her friends that she was feeling a little off, and Chris was acting distant. But that wasn't totally out of the ordinary. Anyone who's been married knows rough patches happen. Then, right in the middle of that day, Shanann and their two daughters, Bella and Celeste, just vanished. Chris appeared on TV, pleading for their safe return. He looked like a broken man. Cops and neighbors rallied, volunteers spread out all over town, and missing posters went up fast. But something was off. The public saw Chris crying, but under the surface his story wasn't adding up. Cops noticed Chris was acting strange. Surveillance footage showed Shanann coming home that night, but she was never seen leaving again. The police started questioning Chris harder, and cracks began to show. First, it was little things. He changed his timeline, avoided direct questions, and failed a lie detector test. What Chris didn't know was that the police already had a ton of evidence. His neighbor's security camera caught his truck leaving early in the morning way before work. He claimed he was heading off to the job site, but it didn't sit right with anyone. Not long after, Chris confessed. First, he said Shanann killed their daughters and he acted in a fit of rage. But that story fell apart almost instantly. The truth was so much worse. Chris killed Shanann at home, then smothered both Bella and Celeste in his truck before driving their bodies to his work site at an oil field. The reason? Chris had started an affair and admitted to investigators that he wanted a fresh start. Instead of handling things like an adult, he wiped out his entire family overnight. People were horrified, not just by the crime, but by the raw betrayal. Shanann loved and trusted this man. Her social media was full of praise for her husband even on her last night alive. The girls, Bella and Celeste, were just 4 and 3 years old. After his confession, Chris showed detectives where he'd hidden the bodies. He buried Shanann in a shallow grave and put his daughters in oil tanks. The detail that stuck with people the most, his little girl, Bella, fought for her life until the very last moment. Her tiny voice and final words pleading with her dad will haunt anyone who hears them. The court process was quick. Chris pled guilty to avoid the death penalty and was sentenced to 5 life terms in prison, no chance of release. But honestly, closure is tough in a case like this. The community put up memorials, then tore them down again, unsure how to process such an intimate betrayal and a pain so raw. What makes the Watts case hit hard isn't just the brutality, it's the sense that anyone, anywhere, can harbor dark secrets. Shannon's story especially resonated. She worked hard, loved fiercely, and trusted deeply. When everything looked picture perfect online, the worst things were happening behind closed doors. People have debated for years now what went wrong. Some say Chris was a narcissist. Others blame the pressures of money, social media, or just plain evil. Maybe we'll never really know. What we do know is that 3 lives were stolen and a neighborhood changed forever. Netflix's documentary retold the case using real police footage and Shannon's own text messages. It's not just a true crime story, it's a reminder that we never really know what's going on inside somebody else's life. No matter how close they seem, it can leave you with questions like, how can a person you love go so far astray? How do small, overlooked warning signs add up? It's a chilling thing to realize that monsters don't always look like monsters. People still visit the graves. Online forums still dissect every word and video. Shannon's family continues to speak out on domestic violence, hoping maybe, somewhere, it'll prevent someone else from ending up in the dark. If you ever find yourself getting obsessive about true crime stories like this, you're not alone. They tap into our deepest questions about trust, love, and betrayal. In the end, what happened to the Watts family isn't really about evil abstractly, it's a very real, everyday horror. As much as people want answers, maybe the real lesson is about looking out for each other, asking hard questions, and breaking cycles before they spiral. Cases like this are rare, but they're real. And sometimes, that's all it takes to shake our sense of normal for good.